Alright, so in front of me I have a Losi Micro-B, completely torn down. Tore the other one down to fill the shocks and just make sure everything was good. It wasn't as noticeable on this one, but on the silver and purple one, the servo horn was a bit loose. You can actually almost see. It's not quite as bad as it was, but gonna put it all back together, make sure everything's nice and tight, all snug. All the bearings being only a couple days old, I didn't see a reason to pull the bearings back out. If anybody needs a video or wants a video of the bearing replacements, I will more than gladly make it. But yeah, I'm gonna get this thing put back together. I'm gonna start with the bottom plate that everything mounts to. Put the sides on, which the battery tray mounts between, the servo mounts on, motor mounts. The motor mounts actually to the back of the plate over top of the suspension. Suspension is held down by the motor. The ESC 2-in-1 combo is kind of cool. It has a pivot point, and I'll show you that in the video, where you can pull the top two if you need to get below it to the battery tray for any reason. You just flip it up. Makes it easy to get to the servo and everything also. Alright, so I've got the main two side supports back on, the battery tray. From there I will get the front pivot point for the steering, where these pins slide into, and then I will start to get the front assembled. It's an interesting note that it comes with the Axial AS1 servo. It's nice to know I have a spare from when I upgraded the SCX24. Alright, so as I said, I didn't take the front hubs apart because I didn't see it necessary to open up the bearings being a day old without having brand new ones or an upgraded set. So I've got the control arms with the hubs and outer steering linkage. This actually mounts, doesn't it mount there? Oh, it actually mounts behind that to the bottom. Yeah. So we're just gonna pop all this off, nice and easy. Okay. So yeah, that goes there, and from there we can continue. Alright, so with the servo on, and you have the pins all lined up, these little pins go into these and just float for the time being. You might want to have the linkage on first. I took everything off as one big piece and it was a bit of a hassle. Oops, and of course I connected it. There we go. I'll get those both on at the same time so that that exact thing doesn't happen. Alright, so let's flop that back. Alright, so got the front together now as far as that. So next we need to lock everything in place. As you see, those two pins actually chime into this once this is on and in place, and then the back two chime in there and there. Let's see. What can I do different? That took way longer to get to go into place than it should have, but ultimately I did have the pins with the pivot joints on the chassis, and then just had to kind of bend that over the pins with a little bit of work, but nothing significant. All right, onward we go. Alright, so got most of it together, just got a couple more bolts to put there. The only thing left for the front is the shocks, and that's all assembled. Alright, so got the rear control arms. Oops, hadn't put that on yet. I was going to show you how it sits. So yeah, it sits just like that. 4 screws hold it in place. It's not too complex for as intricate as it actually is. It's awesome that Losi went through and made it, you know, as quality as their bigger scale stuff, but you know, no complaints. I am very curious of the upgraded aluminum parts and their durability also, and things like that, but I'm sure they're awesome. This thing, I've put them both through a lot so far, and no complaints. Alright, so we are to the shocks, the ESC, which the back chimes in here. It goes like that, and this actually can pop up and down if you need it to. Alright. Hey, so now it is completely back together. Just gotta put the shocks, wheels, and the wing back on. Nothing crazy. Alright, so when going to mount the wing back on, I realized that the longer bolts that I had set aside for it were actually the ones that hold this down, and the shorter ones are actually for the wing. Just FYI. Alright, so I just got to do the shocks, which I'll do a separate video on taking those apart and filling them. But other than that, she should be ready to go here in a minute. Alright, so all back together and ready for some more action. Curious to see if anything ends up breaking on either, but so far they've been real durable. Hoping to get some of the aluminum parts in soon for this one. That one's going to say stock. No, probably not, but still. It'll be put back to stock if not for testing purposes against the other one. Going to be working on a track situation for everything here soon. Definitely subscribe and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see.